Jai Hind everyone, welcome to another episode of Voice of Hackle, a podcast of the cadets, by the cadets and for the cadets. Today we are deeply honored to welcome Major General Ranjan Mahajan, SM VSM, a highly decorated Indian Army officer with over 35 years of experience with his vast experience in national security, leadership and counter-insurgency operations. A very warm welcome, sir. So, before starting with our major discussion on Operation Sindoor, I'd like to know that about yourself and what you would like before you join the armed forces.
Shruti, I belong to a place, very small place in Rajasthan, Shri Ganganagar. I'm born and brought up there. Our roots are in Jammu otherwise. And I have studied throughout in that place. I tried my luck for NDA, but I could not get through. I was not lucky enough to be an NCC cadet during my school days, but I was into the scouts. So there I donned this uniform and I attended till the National Jamboree also. So that was quite an exposure. So, and after coming into the college, I decided to again try my luck through the CDS. So I finally got through in the first attempt, also the first SSB. So that was a great journey from a small town, ending up in the Indian Military Academy. And it was, into the my own system which came that I have to join army. So there was something behind my every thoughts and dreams. It was to become an army officer.
Sir, as we mark 1 year of Operation Sindoor, what is the impact of Operation Sindoor on society, on India, and on the world as well?
You see, Op Sindoor, as we all know, that it started after the very heinous crime by our adversary. I will not hesitate to call them an enemy because they are doing all those proxy wars against us. So that heinous crime which was done in Pahalgam, in which, based on religion, they picked up and we can't forget that picture of that lady standing next to her husband's body. That picture is not going to get erased from our memories. So, once this thing happened, the India's as a country, the resolve was shown in the month of May on the 7th night. How India will tackle this situation, because between the crime having been committed and the resolute action which we took, there was a gap. People were guessing. But once the curtain was drawn, it took a name of Op Sindoor, and in front of the entire world, in front of our enemy, we proved our resolve, and the whole of the nation's approach was such that our image, our status in the entire globe has gone up. People have now started looking up to us. Even, you see, within 3 days, we brought our enemy on the knees. So that was under the great leadership of political leaders and great military leaders, with the trained and well precision trained military, Air Force, Navy, Army, all together. And then finally the political will given to us. So then the targets which are engaged, and so in this Op Sindoor, I think we created a history, and we have driven the message very clearly to our enemy and to the entire world that we mean business.
So, as we witnessed Operation Sindoor, we saw different technologies used in that operation. Sir, how modernization of armed forces is very much needed today, and what sort of things which are yet to include?
You see, the Operation Sindoor, now ongoing, the war between Iran and America and Israel, it is all driving onto that. It is a entire warfare system has gone a drastic change. It has shifted to the entirely technological advancement. You see, now there's no ground forces have been launched, even in Iran, or whatever reason may be behind that. But technologically, through the aerial system, through the space, they have created enough impact. Likewise, in Op Sindoor also we saw that our BrahMos missiles and all these advanced missiles, drones. Although the enemy surprised us that time with their drone swarms initially, but then our air defense came up with the flying colors and they neutralized the entire efforts of Pakistan within no time. So technology has come into our warfare in a big manner. Secondly, the warfare from conventional, it has gone into a different domain, and that is called hybrid warfare. The hybrid warfare involves so many things. The non-state actors are taking into, big way. They're taking part. They are actually, enabling the armed forces of whatever in their aim. So, and then we have now, our focus is now shifted to information warfare, you name a thing, cyber warfare, space warfare, and all these things. And on top of it is the intelligence integration, because you cannot strike a target till the time you have clear inputs, clear intelligence about that, and very specific. And today, our capability is 5 meter. Within 5 meters, we can strike. I wonder if you people have seen that. It was always on the television, precision strikes which they showed our Air Force carried out on the runways of the Pakistani airbase. The double Rawalpindi, the double air tracks or air runways were struck with the absolute precision shots. By one shot, they made 2 runways neutralized. So, warfare has gone under a lot of changes.
Sir, talking about the changes we have seen, sir, there's a major discussion going around today about theater commands as well. Sir, what is your view on this?
It's a long long pending and long awaited and going to be executed soon.
Sure, sir.
As you are aware, we are at a very, very advanced stage. There are 3 integrated commands are coming up. So I will not go into greater details in this, but it is a much. We have seen that the entire battle or war has to be won by integrated approach. By when we talk of at a national level, at a strategic level, Army, Air Force, Navy has to fight together.
Yes, sir.
But when we come down to say further lower level, the Air Force will have its own operations, Army will have. So integrated theater command is a concept which is going to be soon executed, and it is a very, very essential step which is awaited.
So you were a part of many operations back then. सर क्या अभी के जो ऑपरेशंस हैं और पहले के ऑपरेशंस में कुछ मेजर चेंजेस देखने को मिल रहे हैं?
इसी जैसे मैंने पहले आपको बताया, like the earlier it used to be entirely conventional. 1947, 48, 65, 71, even to a certain extent Kargil. I will put them under conventional. Initially it was by the non-state actors who came, militants who came and occupied our location, but we were conventional in putting them back. Now the hybrid warfare has come in. You have seen what happened, so-called white-collar terrorism has come in. They are, professing, or they were professing, which is of no much big relevance now, that we will bleed India by 1,000 cuts, strategy of Pakistan. But that is, again following the approach of proxy war. So these operations we have to fight from a different perspective now. Our approach has also have to be hybrid. Like let's take the case of Kashmir. Kashmir, when we have to undertake operations, so they come under the umbrella of anti-terrorist operations. So earlier, no collateral damage. All these policies, the int-based operations, so that minimum turmoil to the civil population. Likewise, against the on the else line of control, their enemy is not crossing, but the militants are crossing, the terrorists are crossing from there. We have to find a different. So, and then Op Sindoor, you have full example. So that is how the operational thing have changed.
Yes. So, as you witnessed the operations as well and the regular field conditions as well, sir, what is that a particular leadership qualities that is different over there and in the regular field conditions? Because as NCC cadets, we are always told ki leadership qualities, or you have to focus on these things and that things. So what is the major difference in the field area and the battle area, like regular field area and the battle area,
or the normal?
Yes, normal.
You see, leadership is not the presence in a room. The leaders have to show their character. The leaders have to show empathy in whatever situation you are. You have to give your vision and then let the people who are being led give their own perspective, give them a space, create a space for them to give their perspective, give their concerns. So then, within a team, you arrive at a decision. So that is how the best leadership thing is taking place. Now, your question is how it is different from field to peace to battle. Let's take the example of leadership at political leadership. Everywhere, the army chiefs, when they go during Pahalgam or during Op Sindoor to Raksha Mantri or to our Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Raksha Mantri, so they look up some different leadership from there. When they come down, their state say the army going to look at the chief. And when you come down to grassroots level, when the person has to take out the company to go and capture that area, so there's a different kind of leadership. So in my perspective, you said one quality. So I will say character. The character has to be of highest order, and character actually encompasses everything. Integrity, loyalty, humility, adaptability, anything you name falls under the character. If the character is of a high standard, everything will fall in place. I give character building is a must, and character is not that you get it from the womb of your mom. It is built over time. It is built.
Sir, how Operation Sindoor has contributed to future military preparedness?
Yeah, you see, we have now realized the changing warfare. Op Sindoor has also taught us how we should mid-course correction towards our modernization and where we were focusing, where our focus should be. So, although the boots on grounds, as they say, or man behind the gun, is always there. Indian Army is unmatched in the entire world.
Yes, true.
And the soldiers are our backbone. But now we have to make them technological savvy. I remember I had gone on an official tour to Beijing, China. So they took us to one of their cantonment area where I think 6 of them were deployed. So they took us to a huge area where the activities are going on. Although they were playing into our psyche that Indians have come, Indian army officers have come, Indian armed forces officers have come, and they're taking us to their division. You will not believe there are more than 500 young soldiers. Young soldier, just जो भर्ती होते हैं ना वैसे recruit type, and everybody's working on the computer. Everybody's working on the computer with some kind of things happening, some reflections happening on the walls or something. So they try to. So technological training is a must, and of course we already in a much better position. Our equipment, our weapons, they've already gone on advancement, and it's a work in progress. It's continuously.
Sir, after years of experience in army, what drew you towards NCC? And
Firstly, I told I was never an NCC cadet.
yes, sir.
But my wife had been an NCC cadet, and then my son was also NCC cadet. And luckily, they were in the same directorate in Jammu. Anyway, but I saw uniform as a scouts. And thereafter, I became an army officer. And we used to send only people on posting to NCC. So my outlook towards NCC was different. In fact, I will not mix my words. Even the balance of the majority of the Indian Army has got a different perspective of NCC. But when I landed up as ADG, then I realized the strength. Then I realized what is the importance. The NCC is the largest uniform force, not in India, in the entire world. Indian NCC is the largest uniform. Numbers when you take, it is beyond any numbers available in all over the world. Then I interacted with the cadets, and it was a mix. Corona was just going, but it was still some impressions were left. So there were some restrictions. And I, being the ADG of J&K and Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, and having commanded brigade on the line of control and having been in Kashmir, I said I will hold the camps bang onto the line of control. So we held 4 camps bang on the line of control where the cadets could see the Pakistanis across. I did the training there. Then I went to all the camps and interacted there with them, stayed there with them, and saw them from very close. NCC cadets, you all have got such a huge potential. And we as a nation, what is our strength? Soft power. Soft power, what is soft power? You guys. And the youth. Youth and NCC youth who are much trained. The NCC's picture to me became absolutely clear. And wherever I go, I make it a point that I must go and meet whosoever is wherever I can. So NCC's got a lot of potential, a lot of responsibility to take care. Like situation like Operation Sindoor, had it prolonged, or if Operation Sindoor 2 starts and there are kinetic actions start taking place and we start moving, I can assure you NCC will play a big role in the conventional and subconventional warfare, and with pride.
Sir, so these ground experiences which we get in NCC, how can it shapes our leadership roles and we can also like contribute in such operations for future. So how these ground experience can contribute in such roles later?
You see, what is given to you as training? You go, a fresh cadet comes.
Yes, sir.
He or she doesn't know. Then she comes under the seniors are facing. You go and face the senior. Then you have the actual staff who are giving you drill training, giving you weapon training, and then you grow in that, and then you undergo some different C certificate, B certificate, or whatever.
Yes,
so it's a prolonged training, shaping of the character of the cadet.
yes.
Through that, I can tell you now, you are sitting here, you would have been a day one when you came into NCC, and now you see the change in you. Same thing is happening with all the cadets. I remember in Jammu and Kashmir Directorate, sometime it used to become very difficult for me to select out of those. We have to send, say, 10 people, 20 or even 50, all were competitive. So the ground experiences teaches the cadets to become better citizen, better person, human, and also, their resolve become much stronger to take on any situation.
There is this discussion around that incident of Operation Sindoor, the Pahalgam attack. Sir, were there any involvement of the civilians there? And does this raise any concern regarding national security?
If you have closely followed the happening of the events, so you will recollect that how these people were present for 2 days before that heinous crime, and then they did this after about 1 or 2 days having spent there, and they have traveled all the way from somewhere else, and then after the operation they were able to run out. So your question, involvement of civilians, we must differentiate between a normal civilian and a radicalized civilian. एक तो टेररिस्ट है, वो वेपन के साथ घूम रहा है. There are radicalized civilians who don't pick up the weapon, and they are called the overground workers. Overground workers are the backbone of the terrorists who are moving around. Plus, there is a Jamaat. In Kashmir, these Jamaitis are actually controlling the entire actions of the terrorists. And to top it up, the ISI of Pakistan. So now what happens is, how these kind of things happen. The terrorists are given a target, and then they are facilitated to do this. The OGW network helps them to move from place A to B to C to E to F and G, where they have to do the action. So this is the chain. If the civilians or the OGW are not involved, it is not possible. As I generally say, because my 5 tenures in Kashmir have made me see these things from very closely. The OGW is without weapon, but he is of the strength of double the militant. He is equal to 2 militants, 2 terrorists. Whereas the Jamaiti, neither he works out, nor he moves out of the area, but he is using his brain. And 1 Jamaiti is equal to 10 terrorists. He is the one who's actually radicalizing them and making an innocent Kashmiri turn into a terrorist. So the civilians' involvement, getting them into how is their daily survival? They are staying in, say, one village. So if they keep staying there, their input information will reveal. So they keep shifting their base. Today they are in a village A, and after that they will go to village J. So the OGWs take them. They guide them and bring them in the hours of darkness. So definitely any terrorism to survive have to have civilian support. And those civilians are non-normal Kashmiri. In the same breath, I would like to say that the Kashmiri situation, which is now back to almost normalcy, onto the same situation when we started, is all due to the contribution of civilians of Kashmir. They have contributed in a big manner, be it our informers, be it the territorial army soldiers, be it J&K police, be it the STF. They're all Kashmiris fighting for the cause. So, civilians involvement, I told you, in two angles. The third, your main angle is national security. Now, national security is definitely effective. Why we have gone for such a big step of Sindoor? Because they had threatened our national security. How can they come and do this kind of a... national security is encompassing so much, and we are in a big manner now. Erstwhile it used to be strategic culture, was now India is the best example of strategic culture.
Sir, in your whole experience overall, any major decisions you had to take that was really a tough one?
As I said that my 5 tenures in Kashmir, I was also a company commander in Rashtriya Rifle and commanding officer in same unit, Rashtriya Rifle, and then commanded a brigade on the line of control. So there, and Kashmir, every day is a new day. You cannot say that same situation happen again. It'll be a new situation altogether. So one has to really be up and about to take decisions, and based on your decision, life of some people is at stake. You take a decision like on 5th of December 2005, I lost 2 boys, one NCO, one Jawan, and that decision was not a bad decision, but it was not fully executed in the trained manner. We got the input about 8 militants, 6 militants in a village. The company commander took off his parties and they went, but somehow mismanaged. And in the first exchange of fire, we lost these. In fact, there were 3 of them. They were climbing into the house, but unfortunately, the drill was that to clear the house first, but there was no time. So there was a terrorist who was sitting inside. So he took a pot shot on these. So one boy was able to jump out of the balcony window and he survived with a fracture. But these 2 were fatal. So when I looked at them, and as a commanding officer, you have to go to shoulder when the mortar remains are being sent home. So you have to shoulder that as a commanding officer. So then the thoughts came to me, could it have been avoided? But it was already done. So I gave a decision that we will not let this happen again, this kind of thing. And then we came back, and fortunately, with God's grace, I never got into this. We never lost any more boy during that. Anyway, decisions, as I said, situation different. You have to take a decision. In life, we have to take a decision. In warlike scenario, in operational situation, you have to take a critical decision. And that critical thinking and critical decision making is most important to be got into. So there are a large number of decisions which one took, and when you think back, but God has been very kind, and you guys are now the future. You will get into some situations where you have to take critical decisions, which involves life and death of a person. So those kind of decisions are very, very important to me.
So, moving on to our last question, what message you'd like to share to cadets and the young aspirants who all are watching this episode?
The message which I would like to give it to the cadets and whoever is watching is that be yourself. You are in competition, and you are in competition with your own self. You're not competing with the world. You may be competing with the world in different manner, but your actual competition is with your own self. So remain confident, gain enough knowledge. I always quote our Honorable President Abdul Kalam. Some child had asked him a question, how do I gain success in any kind of thing? He said 3 things. Have a big aim, have a big dream, have a big aim. Gain knowledge, continually gain knowledge. And perseverance. Go into with all hard work, and perseverance. So this is the message I would like to leave with you. There is never ending. If you are having a good resolution, resolve, you will reach your aim. Think big, dream big.
So there's this fun and very interesting part of this whole interaction, rapid fire round.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir. So should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, one word for Kashmir.
Kashmir is, to me, is a duty or
Sir,
resolve. That's one word you want. Okay, duty.
Sir, one quality every officer must have.
Character. The character, as I said, involves everything.
Sir, Operation Sindoor in one word.
Resolve. Win. Resolve.
Sir, desert and mountains. What was your toughest posting?
They had their own, challenges. They had their own dimensions. But of course, mountains, not from conventional point of view, but from anti-terrorist operations point of view. And I'm in love with mountains, and I was lucky, and I thank Indian Army to have given me an opportunity to be serving there and contribute and gain myself.
Sir, if not the army, what you would have been?
I would have been an Air Force, either the fighter pilot or some other duty, because I had already cleared SSB for Air Force also. And I was asked a question, because that time I was already qualified for Army and Air Force both. So the Air Force interviewing officer asked me a question, if we select you for this also, will you leave Army and will you come to the Air Force? I said, no sir, I'll go for the Army. So, and of course, this answer to this, I said Air Force. I was lucky enough, having served for about 30 years in Army, I got an opportunity to have a flight in the fighter aircraft MiG-29 upgrade. They took me for about 55 minutes sortie. That's the time I really, although I have a lot of good friends as fighter pilot, my respect, my thing towards the fighter pilots became very strong. One machine, one man, open skies, so many armaments, enemy from attacking you from all sides. He is the one who's single-handedly fighting. And then he took me to all these difficult flying things. They roll, they go against the gravity. So he took me right up to 5G. And they have to go by force to save themselves, to outmaneuver the enemy. So hats off to fighter pilots.
Thank you so much, sir. We are truly grateful for this interaction. It was really inspiring for all of us.
In fact, I must thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here and share my whatever little knowledge or whatever experience I have got. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Getting me back to the NCC.
Jai
Jai Hind.